Good day, folks. This is 3 Clips 3 here. I thought I would put this video together because of this time where a lot of technical traders are 50-50 with their trades. I just thought I would show from a VSA, a volume spread analysis perspective, and also a bit of a fundamental analysis. Try not to make this video too long, and don't expect to be professional or anything. I don't make trading videos, so. But I thought in this time it would be valuable for people, since I was noticing that people are not talking about this. So let's get right into it just quickly. The real question is if 2014 is going to repeat for 2018, and that we are still going down to 5,000, like Tone Vase is holding a short position. So it's in my opinion that we will not do that, and I'll show you one of the main reasons why. My main thing is looking at volume. So I have one thing I say. I say volume is king. Okay. So right now we've been falling for 2 months so far, almost for a third month, on descending selling volume. Okay, descending selling volume, and even the last time we had that, we were dropping on falling descending volume was here, and I was telling my students and other traders back in the start, before this month even ended, when I saw this, and you can easily calculate through the average daily volume what the end of the month volume will be like. So I was saying that the market will be ripe to rise for this month, and that was the ETF news, right? The ETF rumor hype, right? And then that's what brought it up. Looking back at 2014, what was different back then, okay? We can just read what volume was saying here. When we were falling here, you can see volume was increasing. Now, as a VSA trader, I look at that and I would say, I would definitely not be buying that dip. Okay, I want to be buying dips that have descending volume, like this one here. Okay, and we could be at this point in time here. Remember, this is a completely different market than it now than we were back then. Now there's much more manipulation than there was back here. Much more players, much more. It's a much bigger market, moves faster. And that's, but looking at the volume here, we can see that when the volume started drying up, that's when this market really started to turn. Really, the only sign we had was kind of back here. Even though price was falling, we can see we have descending selling volume here, and then we have a bit of higher volume, but it's a doji, right? So, well, almost a doji, right? This created an environment for buyers to step in, and buyers did step in. But you can see the volume was not very great back here. Okay, compared to here, you can see the volume is comparable to back here, whereas this one here, it's significantly lower. That these two here are significantly lower than these ones here, and so this is a healthy bull market. So when I see this, this is a healthy bull market. When you start to see this here, this is a healthy run, right? Then you can look to buy dips. When you see this, you look to buy dips. And now we are here, and now we're seeing this dip here under descending selling volume on the monthly. Yes, there's also no buying volume coming in, but what's important is what is price doing as it's falling. It's showing that the market is not interested in lower prices. Seems to be around 6,400, 6,500. Where just people are not willing to sell. Most of this market is being moved by high frequency trader bots, just big transactions, right? News spikes, and this year has been very much, okay, one of the reasons why it's very different as well is I believe that this market has been shaped by certain events as well, okay? We know that the Mt. Gox dump here, okay, this did help change how the charts react. If we'd never had that dump, it would have been very different, right? We also have Tether as well, and Tether, from my research, okay, I was looking at this article here by this gentleman, John Griffin from the University of Texas, and I looked at his original paper. I encourage you to read it, but he pretty much said that Tether was being used to protect Bitcoin prices during the downturns, and we can see how the green arrows are Tether prints. I didn't put the amount, but you can see that they were printed, which created probably, it's kind of funny, you have the Mt. Gox dumps. We also have seized government Bitcoin throughout the year. So we have the Mt. Gox dumps here. We have another Mt. Gox transfer here for about 16K. And then over here in around September, we were having the Silk Road wallets, which is apparently associated. I did a little bit of digging. Apparently it's an old Mt. Gox whale. But regardless of who it was, we have large sales of Bitcoin dumping this market. So, we have, this is a very different market than it was back then. And that's why you can't compare the two. You can't just use charting technical analysis and to say like, well, the pattern was similar back there, so it's going to continue here. And that's why out of all that nonsense, I just zoom out and I'm looking at the volume. So what could it look like now for the next few months? This is what I anticipate, is that the market has been ripe for buyers. You can see the sellers are very weak, okay? I think the next few months, when we do rise, which we'll see what the volume looks like then, okay? If we have price moving up for 2 months, it'll probably be about 2 months we'll move up, and if we have ascending volume, that will be a sign that I'll probably stay into the market. If I see price going up and then I see it drop off for a month, I'll probably sell for that month and then get back in on a dip the next month. If I see a dip coming and we have descending volume like this, that will be a sign to load the boat, especially when you see several months. If price continues, if we do go back to all new highs again, like we did back here, and we have increasing volume, that will be a sign that, just like how it was to the downside, you see how you needed volume to break the support, okay? To break this support. I know we're zoomed in on a monthly, right? Zoomed out on a monthly, but this support was broken because as price was approaching this area, the sellers were ascending in strength. Same here. Price is moving up and the volume is ascending. And that's why this was a good sign that this area was going to break. So if you want to look and you want to see how the support and resistances break, they need volume behind it. And I'm not seeing that same volume here that's required to be able to break these levels. Technically, you have that, you have those two triangles, right? We have either the descending triangle, right? Something like that. Okay. Right, where we just go boom, boom, high, lower highs, and then we just fall off a cliff, and then we're done, right? Or we have the descending wedge, right? Which is, people are still expecting us to go down here to 5,000 and below, okay, and then break up. That's also a bullish pattern. Volume is not saying any of this is going to happen. So I believe we're going to be it might be something similar to what we saw in the lower time frame. Before we had that huge, massive rally candle here. And I already drew it out here for us to see. When we start making lower highs, but also higher lows, that this compression here is kind of where we're at, and this is the move I'm waiting for, right? So on a larger time scale, now we have that same pattern, but on a larger time scale. So we have lower highs, and we have higher lows. So I believe that this is going to play out in an explosion, which I believe will be upwards. It will not be downwards because we don't have the volume. There's just not enough people selling. There is most of it is over-the-counter buying. On top of that, we do have anytime it drops at these levels, we know the over-the-counter market is really just blowing up right now. But the way the market's moved, just the retail, they're really low, long, not really people are trading Bitcoin, and it really kind of gone stagnant right now. Really, retail's not moving the market, and it's going to take a catalyst to be able to bring up this market back. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be backed, maybe it's going to be the ETF, but whatever it is, the market is ripe for the conditions to rise, and I don't believe we're going lower because we don't have the volume to break that support. So anyways, if you have any comments, I just thought I'd make this video. Again, it's not professional or anything, but I just wanted to get the information out. Any questions, leave them below and I'll try to answer them. Good luck and good trading.